Hi! So, today I'm going to show you how to do snappers. It's surprisingly simple, and there's a lot you can do with it. So, first let's walk over here. And here we have a beautiful box. Now, this is going to be our holder where we're going to be storing things on top of. So, for example, this little cube here is going to be stored on here, like this. Now, the way we do this is we first want to inspect our small cube, grab it, and simply parent it to our big cube. Then we grab this simply and we move it roughly into position where we can then over here fix some of the offsets, make the values a bit nicer. Like, let's fix this to a 0.3, fix the rotation to 0. We don't need it to be offset on the red angle, which is X. We don't need it to be offset on the blue angle, which is Z. However, we do want it to be offset on the green angle, which is Y. Now, the way that we set up these snap targets is actually not yet, because we actually won't be using this here as a snap target, because this is not the snap target. This is just the object that it will be snapping to. This is the holder. The snap target doesn't exist yet. The way we make the snap target is we select the box, which is the object that will be snapping. We select this button here, which allows us to generate a parent for this object, which this parent will then inherit the scaling properties, and the original box here will be reset to 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. The reason why we need to do this is because a snapper, when snapping an object to the snapper, will reset the position, rotation, and scale values to these values, which otherwise means it would change scale, but we want it to be exactly this small, so we need to parent it first and generate a parent like this. You could manually scale it after, but this is just so much simpler. So next, we just quickly rename this to a snap target. I accidentally deleted a dash. This is the actual snap target. And then this box here is our snapper. Now the snap target, as it implies by target, is what the snapper will be targeting when it snaps. Now, if we now go to that box snap target, we can go to attach component, transform, interaction, snap target. Great, now we have a snap target on here. However, we need to either hook up a snapper whitelist, which specifically allows us to reference a snapper component in it, so that only specific snappers are able to snap to this thing. Or, which we're going to actually do now, is we're going to make a snapper keyword whitelist, which allows us to just label this as box. And then when we make the snapper over here, the box snapper, which is also in transform interaction, we can add a keyword here and call this also box. And since the keyword here matches the keyword that is on the target here, it'll actually allow us to properly snap it. However, if we now tried this, you may notice that, oh no, what happened? Our snapper, it's not working. What's wrong? Well, currently we have this selected, which is the actual snapper. Let's select the snap target and find out. Now, even when there's nothing parented to the snap target, you'll see that there's actually a selection box here. Now, the reason why there's a selection box here is because the snap target actually has a sphere collider. We can visualize the sphere collider to see it's actually really tiny. And the reason why is because the actual distance that we're allowing to snap from is only 0.1 units, and on top of that, the scale of the slot is 0.3 units. So that's a very small size. It's basically a tenth of a third. Now, in order to fix that, we simply go to the maximum snap distance and change that to 1.666 repeating. 666 repeating because that allows us to offset the point free scaling. And now you can see we have the collider a lot bigger. And I'm going to now grab the cube again and snap it to it. Also, since this is a sphere and not a cube collider or box collider, these edges here are actually not considered for snapping. So if you put it on an edge like this, it is not going to snap. You actually have to have the center of the object be intersecting. Now, something more that we can do is, for example, we can, assume that this here is a little USB stick, and this is our little USB port. Now, obviously, when a user grabs this and turns it the wrong way around, we don't really want it to snap by just flipping itself over. We just want it to do nothing. The way we can control this is on the snap target. We have here something called the maximum angle deviation, which basically is the amount of values the rotation is allowed to be different from where it's supposed to be. Now, if we lower this from this insanely high number down to 90 degrees, for example, and we now try to grab this and position it here, you'll see it snaps perfectly. And even if I tilt it more and more and more and oh no, it no longer snaps. Because now we have an angle deviation that is so heavy that it actually no longer allows it to snap. Which means you have to properly position it in order to make it snap. If you do not properly position it, it does not snap. This also helps you prevent accidental snapping. For example, if you have a bunch of slots to snap different things in different positions, and they share a tag, actually checking the angle of where you put it in lets you position it in a way that it's not too hard to actually do. Now, what you have to remember, however, is that obviously this isn't just rotations like these. This also covers rotation along the y-axis. So if I put it here now, it won't snap, because if I select this here, you'll see that this blue arrow is pointing to me, while the blue arrow on here is pointing away. And the deviation is basically how far away these rotations are. So we actually have to line up these arrows in about a 90-degree angle. The moment we are more than 90 degrees, like this, it no longer snaps. If we make it 90 degrees, it snaps and lines up perfectly. Yeah. I hope that helped, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye!